Ada. Hello? Yeah. Oh, but I can't hear him, you know. Yeah.
Dalam penyelidikan dalam jurnal berimpak tinggi dalam bidang-bidang writing, reading, listening, speaking, intercultural communication and multilingualism. Dan kini beliau merupakan managing editor bagi International Journal of Language, Literacy and Translation di USM. Jadi saya rasa beliau memang layak untuk membentangkan tajuk kita yang pada kali ini yang bertajuk strategi penerbitan dalam Jurnal Index of Web of Science dan juga Scopus. Dengan ini saya mempersilakan Dr. Manjitko untuk meneruskan pembentangan. Silakan Dr.
Okey, terima kasih Dr. Razak. Okay, terima kasih kepada pihak organisasi yang menjemput saya hari ini untuk membentangkan satu tajuk yang saya rasa amat menarik, iaitu Publication Strategies, Focus on Index Publication in Web of Science and Scopus. Okay. Seperti yang Dr. Razak terangkan tadi, saya dari Universiti Sains Malaysia. Jadi tajuk ini amat bersesuaian untuk dibentangkan, memandangkan ada pihak pensyarah di Institut Perguruan yang memang berminat untuk menjalankan penyelidikan dan juga menerbitkan hasil penyelidikan mereka. Okey. Jadi tanpa belengahkan masa, saya akan meneruskan pembentangan saya hari ini dalam bahasa Inggeris. Okay, so this is the agenda for today's presentation. Firstly, I'll be discussing with you all on what is Web of Science and Scopus. Then I will do a short introduction to scholarly publication and discuss a little bit on why we publish. What is the purpose of publishing? Why do we force ourselves to write? Academic writing is not something that is very easy, it's very challenging. But why we write and we publish? Okay. Next, I will go into the types of scholarly publication. Okay, I will also go through some examples of to introduce to y'all to some index publication, Web of Science, Scopus. We will visit the website of Scopus to see how to search for literature, how to select journals, and how to select researchers that you can collaborate with. And also, finally, I will look into the strategies to avoid rejection. Okay, and finally, how you can successfully publish in index journals. Okay, first of all, this is the website of Web of Science. If you go to the Web of Science, you can see you have a lot of information available. Okay, so it is also known as Clarivate Analytics. Okay, and you also have the other one, which is ESCI, that is the emerging. Okay, so under this Web of Science, you have a few citation indexes. Okay, like we have the Science Citation Index Expanded, Emerging Sources Citation Index. You also have the Social Sciences Citation Index. Okay, and also for conference proceedings, we have Citation Index. And lastly, Book Citation Index for those who are very interested in doing book publication or submitting their book chapters for publication. Okay, what is the purpose of all these index websites? Okay, from here, you are able to source journals which are reputable, which have certain impact factor. Okay, that will also allow you or ensure that you do not publish in blacklisted journals or in predatory journals. Okay, so it's very important before you decide to publish in a particular journal, you need to do some investigation. You have to become like a private investigator. Okay, to search a journal, to find out background information about the journal. Okay, I'll go through more details after that. Okay. Okay, next one, like I mentioned just now, impact factor, that before you select a journal to publish, you need to look into the impact factor of the journal and also the journal citation report. Okay, these are some of the terms that you will come across when you do your investigation. For example, how the impact factor, the journal impact factor is calculated. So you have A, B, C, D here. Total cites. Cites here refers to citations. How many authors cited previous work published in that particular journal? For example, in 1992. Okay, so B will be the number of 1992 cites, the citations to articles published in that journal in a particular year. Okay, so C, number of articles published in that journal. Okay, so what you get at the end is the impact factor. Okay, so this is how the calculation is done. But I think we should not be worried of the calculation. You can find out what is the impact factor by going to the journal website, whereby the information is normally provided in the journal website. But at the same time, it is very important for you to verify the journal impact factor, which is displayed on the journal's website. Certain journal websites do not display accurate information. Okay, so where can you get this information? You need to go to the JCR. JCR is a Journal Citation Report. Okay, that is where you can get information for journal, okay, which are categorized under ISI, okay, SSCI. Okay, for example, this is the cover page or the website cover of this particular journal, Wiley Online Library. The journal title is the Modern Language Journal, and you have information provided there. For example, who is the editor-in-chief, the associate editor, and what is the impact factor. Impact factor here, if you notice, is for 2017 is 2.789. Okay, and this journal is indexed in ISI. Okay, journals which are not indexed in ISI, you will not get their impact factor from JCR, from the Journal Citation Report. Okay. Okay, next one is Scopus. Okay, I assume that most of you have already visited the Scopus website, or if you haven't, after going through today's presentation, you might want to go and play around the website, and you can find that the website is very resourceful in providing information. There is a lot of information that can really help you to find a suitable journal, to read suitable articles, to read, okay, to find researchers that you can collaborate with, okay, to find out what kind of research is being done worldwide by people, okay. So these are some of the, how do I say, resources that you can get on the Scopus website. Okay, for example, this is an example of a journal which you try to, for example, you are trying to find out more about. So you go to the Scopus website. You just, when you online, just go to Google and just type in S Scopus. You will come to the website. Okay. Then this one is on Modern Language Journal. If you notice here, the coverage years for Scopus is provided for you. That means from 1996 to 1997, this journal was not covered under Scopus. And from 2002 to 2003, it was not in Scopus also. So there are issues sometimes that the journals fall out from Scopus ranking. And after that, they apply and they come back in. Okay. To gain indexing, let's say, for example, in Scopus, in DOAJ, in ERA, okay, you need to apply. Okay, so when you apply, you need to comply to certain conditions. Okay, like for example, in Malaysia, we have Malaysian Citation Centre. Under the Malaysian Citation Centre, we have local journals. Okay, local journals which are cited, indexed under My Journal and My Cite. So once you apply for your journal to be, how do I say, you create a journal, okay, you need to get the ISSN, okay, apply for the ISSN from the National Library, Perpustakaan Negara also, okay. Then you have to have certain number of issues before you can apply for indexing in My Journal. Then after 3 years, only then you can apply for indexing under My Cite. And then it is not automatic also. It will go under review before you are, how do I say, you're offered to be indexed in certain indexation sites. Okay. Okay, like this is a example from Scopus. You get to find out, okay, I want to publish in this journal. I want to find out whether this journal is indexed in Scopus or not. Okay. So this journal is indexed in Scopus. Okay, and its publisher is Wiley and Blackwell, and you have the ISSN number provided. And most of their publications are in these subject areas: arts and humanities, social sciences. Okay, so you get to view all the documents, and you get to see the CITE score of the journal. Okay, and SJR of the journal. Okay, we'll go to the SJR later. Okay, so why publish? And furthermore, to publish, why do you want to publish in index publication? And why do you want to publish in index publication? Publication that are indexed in Scopus or Web of Science. Okay, so there is certain reputation to it by publishing in journals which are indexed. Okay, why do we publish? Okay, this is a quote by a professor from Harvard. Okay, if your research does not generate papers, it might just as well not have been done. For example, teachers are very much interested in doing action research in their classroom. Okay, so you have a lot of research, you do research after research. At the end, what is the benefit of your research output? So this is one that you need to think about. Okay, So you want your research to benefit other educators. You want your research to benefit the students. So this is where publication comes in. Through publication, you get to share your findings with the public, with the readers of your work, so that they can apply new strategies. For example, in their teaching, students can apply new strategies in their learning. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why we publish. Okay, at the same time, it's also needed for reputation of an academic, a researcher. Okay, it's a professional need to publish, because when it comes to hiring, when it comes to promotion, okay, your CV will be scrutinized. So in your CV, what is requested is, have you published? And have you published in index journals? Okay, have you published in journals with high impact factors? Okay, so these are the issues why people also publish. Okay, for example, you apply for a position and your future employer wants to check on you in terms of your publication. He or she can go to the Scopus website and do a search on you. Okay, for example, let's say, for example, I want to search about Anthony Pime. Okay, so I get to see where is Anthony Pime currently affiliated to, University of Melbourne. Okay, he also has ORCID ID. Okay, how many papers has this author published? If you look at the screen here now, you get to see that Anthony has published 43 documents. And based on the 43 documents, he has H index documents, okay, numbered at 10. And at the same time, he also have been cited. Okay, his total citations are 438. Okay, so he has been highly cited. Okay, so this can be investigated through a lot of websites, for example, Scopus. Okay, for example, Alice Rodd, okay, a very well-known figure in the education field. Okay, his affiliation is Curtin University, and he also has Scopus ID. You have the author ID, so that is Alice Rodd's Scopus ID. And then the subject areas in which Alice Rodd has published. We have starting from social sciences, okay, to also pharmacology. Okay, and his H index is extremely high, which is 42, and he has authored 149 documents. Okay, publications. These publications can be in terms of being the sole author, the corresponding author, or the co-author. And his citation is very high. Out of the 149 articles that Alice Rodd has authored, he has received 5,480 citations. Okay. Okay. This one, Scopus is used as a research profile for measuring the research output. For example, each university or each faculty will have the research profile of their staff, their academic staff. So you also get to go to the link and find out the publications of those authors. Okay, you have one here by Dr. Rakib Chaudhry. Okay. And you see at the bottom, view Scopus profile. When you click on that, you will go to Scopus. Then you get to see his profile on the Scopus website. And on your right, you have the statistics of his publication. If you see, he has widely published in certain number of years based on the statistics. Okay. Okay, another reason why we publish is because it is a compulsory requirement. For example, in one of the universities, for PhD and master by research graduation, students have to publish. If you do not publish, you cannot graduate. Let's say, for example, you're doing your PhD, okay, or masters. So in this particular university, you have to publish. And where you need to publish, for example, the 2 articles in Journals Index by Thomson Reuters. Okay. Okay, this one is also PhD and Master by Research graduation in USM, whereby if you're studying in the field of arts, if you're doing a PhD, you have to publish at least one article indexed in ISI, Scopus or ERA. Or if you're not able to publish in ISI, Scopus or ERA, you can publish in journals by the university with the condition that these journals are also indexed in my journal from the My Site. My Site is a Malaysian Citation Center, or you have book published, okay, under Thomson Reuters Web of Sciences, or also the university publishers, or what we call MAPIM. Okay, this is another example from UPM, also why you need to publish, okay, because it's compulsory publication for graduation. Okay, so publication is also very much important. If you look at the scroll that you obtain after you complete your master's or after you complete your PhD, the scroll will not mention what you have published based on your research done for your PhD or master's. It will only mention the title of your thesis. Okay, so a degree scroll cannot speak. Publication will speak on your behalf. So whatever that you have researched for your PhD thesis, you need to transfer it into publications that people can read, that people can share with their other colleagues, other researchers, that people can implement into their daily teaching, in their classroom. Okay, so this is one research done on the impact of publishing during your PhD studies on career research publication, visibility and collaboration. So this article, okay, what they found out was that people who publish during their PhD will have greater research production and productivity. Okay, so they gain visibility in the market soon or faster compared to you only start publishing after you finish your PhD. Okay, and also another reason why we publish is for the reputation and world university ranking. If you notice, world university rankings also have research publication as one of the contributors. Okay, so every university have to ensure that their academic staff publish. Okay, I'll give you one example here. Okay, Harvard is one of the best universities in the world because of its research strength. Okay, what we can notice here is together, Oxford and Cambridge, they produce less number of publications than Harvard alone. Okay, so they need to increase their publication. Okay. Okay, so you want to find out how many publications the universities have done, you can still go to Scopus. Okay, the examples that you have on your screen are actually from the Scopus website. Okay, for example, let's take University Science Malaysia. Okay, so for University Science Malaysia, it has an ID also, affiliation ID. And in terms of many publications done by the academic staff of University Science Malaysia, they have cited their university's name in the many variations provided here on the screen. For example, University of Science, Malaysia. University in English, Science in English, Malaysia. Or in Malay, University Science Malaysia. Okay, so there are different ways that the academics have cited University Science Malaysia. So whenever Scopus detects all these, they will assume the coverage for this publication. So as an institution, University Science Malaysia, okay, had these many publications, documents, 38,206, the whole institution. Okay, then based on affiliation is 35,538. Okay, why the difference? Why the difference is when somebody publishes, okay, we will put our name as the author, and sometimes we have our email contact. Sometimes we have our faculty contacts. Sometimes we don't have our faculty contact, but we put in our institutional contact. Okay, for example, I'm from the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation. So in my publication, I just write my name and my faculty's affiliation. I do not include USM. Okay, so these are some of the discrepancies whereby Scopus will not be able to detect certain publications. So among the 38,206 publications by the institution, only 35,000 plus announced their affiliation to University Science Malaysia. And for this number of publications from University Science Malaysia, there were 12,000 plus authors. Okay, why is such? Why is it such? It's such because when you do authorship, when you have this authorship of publication, sometimes it's collaborative publication. So you have one author from University Science Malaysia, another author from Prague University. Okay, so that is where you have these numbers. Okay, you can have a look at all the other universities which are provided on the screen. Okay, at the same time, you also publish because you want to contribute to the World University Ranking. Okay, for example, the QS World University Ranking allocates 30 points on research citations. Okay, then you have the Times World University Ranking, whereby they emphasize more on research productivity and citation compared to QS. QS is only 30 points, whereas Times World University Ranking is 60 points. So that is where you get to see the ranking differs, because for QS only 30% is emphasized for publication, research citation. That is why the ranking of Malaysian University is high under this QS ranking. As for Times World University Ranking, emphasis on research productivity is high, that is 60%. That is why you see our ranking differs compared to QS. For example, under QS, University Malaya at one point of time was ranked at 87. Okay, for Times World University Ranking, it was ranked at 301 to 350. Okay, so it's based on the percentage, okay, of how much emphasis is given to which type of contribution. Okay, now we'll go to Scopus. So why publish in index publication? Index publication will assure quality and prestige. You must understand that there are a lot of journals outside in the market, journals which are not indexed, zero indexing, journals which are indexed by index under indexation websites which are disputable, for example, which are questionable. Okay, certain indexing sites, for example, like Index Copernicus. Okay, so the quality is not ensured. So, okay, in terms of Scopus, you have the quality and the prestige being ensured. Okay, for category of journal policy. Okay, when you choose the journal, you have the convincing editorial policy. Okay, the type of peer review, they do blind peer review, and it is 3 reviewers, for example. Okay, and diversity in geographical distribution of editors. Okay, it's a matter of not just searching which journal you want to publish in. You also need to go to the journal's website and look at the editorial board and look at how geographically distributed all those who are appointed as the board members. Okay, this is very important. And in terms of content, okay, the readability of articles and also the clarity of abstracts is very important. Okay, the quality of articles. If the articles have gone through peer review, blind peer review, and it has been, how do I say, edited, is gone up and down, and this article have gone through similarity index screening. Okay, so the quality is, how do I say, you are able to maintain the quality, you're able to guarantee the quality of the content is very important. Okay, and the journal standing. Go for journal which are cited, how do I say, index in Scopus. Okay, and also in terms of how regularly the journals publish. Okay, certain journals, they have 2 issues per year. Certain journals will have only 1 issue. Okay, so if you're in a rush to get published, do not go for these journals, because it will take a year for you to get published, and there is no guarantee that your article will be accepted for publication. Okay, so that's very important for you to search. But then remember, for a journal that has, let's say, 6 or 8 publications per year, it's questionable in terms of its quality. Okay, so that is where you need to look at all these issues. Okay, and in terms of online availability, certain journals which are indexed under JCR, okay, which are ISI index or Scopus, you cannot access the article unless you purchase the article. Okay, so you also have to look into that, whether the full journal content is available online or not. Okay, whether you want your article to be accessible, or either when your article is published, you share among your colleagues. Okay, so these are the things that you need to look into. Okay, so at the end of the day, okay, the number shows. Okay, so this is the code. Throughout the world, in virtually every higher education or research setting, the number shows that a small minority of researchers produce the vast majority of publications. What it tells is the people who publish are the same people who publish at all times. Okay, most researchers publish little or nothing. So you only hear the common names publishing at all times. Okay. Okay. So now we go to types of publication. Okay. You have decided, okay, I would like to publish something. I would like to do research and I would like to publish. Okay. So what kind of publication do you want to do? Okay. So we have here conference papers. We have peer-reviewed journals. And we have book or book chapters. Okay. For a first timer or an amateur, you can start with a conference paper. Okay, conference paper. So certain conferences, they have proceedings. Certain conferences, they do not have proceedings. So you just publish your papers, that's it, you're done with it. Okay. Or to go one step further, the conference will have proceedings. Okay. And the next stage is certain proceedings are indexed in Scopus. Some proceedings are not indexed in Scopus. So like for example, like now for University Science Malaysia, if you want to go for a conference publication, for a conference and you want to be sponsored by the university, the requirement is that the paper which you publish, which you present at a conference must be published in index journal, okay? And the index journal must be indexed in at least a Scopus journal. Okay, so now we have conferences which also do journal publications, not only proceedings, because proceedings are less attractive, okay, in terms of prestige. Okay, so people go for peer-reviewed journal publication. So what happened is the conference organizers will normally tie up with the journals. Okay, then what they do is for a particular conference, they will have a special issue, okay, to be published. So you should tap on this kind of conferences. It's very important. Okay. Okay. Now for peer-reviewed journals, if you want to write an article, okay, what kind of article do you want to target? Do you want to go for a review article? Okay, review article here refers to you do a systematic literature review, for example, of many articles in your area for a certain topic. Then you get it published. However, you must find out first from the journal's website, the information, whether a particular journal accepts review articles or not. Because certain journals, they only go for empirical study. Okay, so these are the issues that you need to tackle first before you decide. So review article does not need you to go out and do fieldwork, research, textual analysis, and so on. It's just a matter of doing review, for example, systematic literature review, and get your article published. Okay. Next one is certain journals, they have a section for publication, which is known as a book review. Okay. Basically, this is mostly by invitation. Okay. The journal will select a certain book, then they will provide, they will invite, okay, review of the particular book. Okay. Maybe they want to promote the book. Okay. So you can also do book review. Okay. And next one, you have the empirical study. Okay, most journals publish empirical study articles. Okay, empirical study involves doing research and then reporting your findings, okay, in an article form. And you also have brief reports, short articles. For example, an empirical study article can go from a minimum to 5,000 to 8,000 words. A brief report can be about 3,000 words, okay? And they also publish interview of experts. For example, experts in your area, for example, Rod Ellis, Alan Maley. Okay, so you interview them on a certain topic and it gets published in a peer-reviewed journal. Okay, peer-reviewed journal here means that whatever submitted, text submitted to the journal has to go peer review process. And the peer review process is normally a blind peer review process, whereby the reviewers will not know your identity. Okay, they will not know the identity of the author. Okay, and lastly, we have the book section and the book chapter section. Okay, for amateurs, you should start with book chapter. Okay, book chapters here can also include articles which are listed here under the peer review journals column. You can have review articles. You can also have empirical study. Okay, but most book chapters will include review articles. Okay, for example, certain conferences also, if they do not tie up with any journal to do publication, they also invite for conference papers to be published as book chapters. Okay, and these books also are indexed or non-indexed. Okay, so you have to look into that issue, whether you want to publish in books which are indexed or we do not mind if they're not indexed. For example, if you want to publish in books, okay, which are published by University Press, okay, which are listed under MAPIM, okay, then they will be indexed, okay, like Springer, Routledge, okay. Then you have the book. You yourself want to write a book. Okay, first of all, you need to find a publisher. Okay, discuss with the publisher whether they be agreeable, and you have a draft manuscript, a proposal of the book. Okay, and the publisher will go through your proposal to see whether there will be market for the book. Okay, only then you proceed with your writing. Okay, so which type of publication would you want to choose? Okay, some types of written output is more valued. For example, publishing in peer-reviewed journals. Okay, so peer-reviewed journal articles are normally great portfolio for young academics. Okay, it's very important. And authoring a book also, which is indexed, is also very good. Okay, and what normally is done by most graduates, let's say for example you completed your PhD, you can convert your PhD thesis into a book. Okay, but it's just not a matter of taking the whole chunk and then transforming it into a book. There are certain procedures that you need to go through. Maybe you have to go through a course, okay, like what we offer here in USM under our penerbit USM Press. We have a course, a workshop, okay, to teach young academics who just graduated how they can transfer their PhD thesis into a book form. Okay. Okay, next one. You want to start your publication, and before that you want to find some material to help you. Okay, let's say for example in terms of your referencing, you want to cite articles which are indexed in Scopus. Okay, then you go to the Scopus website to search your information. Mostly what we do is we just go to Google. Okay, we just search our title, whatever we want, or what are the variables, the elements, the key terms in our article for our research. Okay, then we search in Google, then we have a lot of articles, we read up and we cite them. Okay, so you must understand that kind of references can come from many sources. Can be reliable, can be not reliable. Some of the previous articles are published in blacklisted journals, in predatory journals. Okay, so it might not stand. Okay, so you want quality work, you want to refer to quality references, so you go to Scopus, okay, and you do your search. Okay, so this is what you have now on your screen is a page from the website, okay, to search for your document. So this is where you put in your key terms and so on, okay, to search for the documents. Okay, for example, you have here English language teaching in Bangladesh. Okay. Okay, you put in words like translation, culture. Okay, then this one on your right you have in terms of social sciences. Do you want all social sciences? Do you want to search for articles under arts and humanities or decision sciences? Okay, then it will provide you. Let's say, for example, you have translation and culture. If you look at bottom, there are more than 3,000 articles. Okay, so you need to go through them one by one. They'll be accessible. Okay. Okay, searching journals in Scopus. Okay, you can also search journal in Scopus. So if you look at the top, after search, you have sources. You click on the sources. Okay, once you have clicked on the sources, you will have this page. Then under the subject area, you can put the subject area, or then you have all these subject areas will appear. Then you select whether you want to go to the arts and humanities. So if under arts and humanities, you have language and linguistics. Okay. Under social sciences, you have linguistics and language. Okay, you can also, if you look under sources, this is a subject area. Next one, under sources, you can go to the title of the journals. Okay, you click on the journal then and you get to find the articles. Okay, English language teaching. Okay, so when you clicked on English language teaching, at the bottom there, you have English language teaching. Okay, this journal is the publisher is Canadian Centre of Science and Education. At one point of time, it was indexed in Scopus, but now if you go to Scopus, okay, it will not be indexed. Okay, this journal and the publisher is actually blacklisted, okay, in Bell's list, Beall. Okay, so try not to publish in this journal. It's good for your CV if you do not publish in blacklisted journal. You are not, how do I say, not allowed, not to say not allowed to publish in blacklisted journals. Okay. However, in certain institutions, when it comes to promotion, these are the issues that they take into consideration, whether you publish in Scopus journals, index journals, ISI, or in blacklisted journal. So that is where, like I mentioned earlier, you need to do your investigation. You can have a journal title in Scopus, index in Scopus. However, when you counter check in the Bell's list is a list of journals and also publishers which are blacklisted. So we do not encourage, like for example in USM, our staff to publish in these blacklisted journals, although they are indexed in Scopus. Okay, so please take note of that. And another thing is, you have also issues like when you go to the journal's website, you need to do thorough investigation to see whether the publishers on the journal's website and the publisher indicated for the same journal on the Scopus website is the same. There have been cases whereby you have the journal which is indexed in Scopus but will list a different publisher which is not the same as in the journal's website. So that is where when you continue your search, you will find out there are some discrepancies. Okay. Okay, let's say for example, English language teaching was indexed in Scopus from year 2012 to 2015. And after that, the coverage was discontinued in Scopus. This publisher is blacklisted in the Bell's list. Okay. We also have the Malaysian journal list. We also have a website, Malaysian web-based website for journals which are blacklisted. Okay. Okay, choosing the right journal for an article. So it's very important, check your references to find a potential journal. Do your investigation. Okay, look at the journal title. Okay, look at the scope. Okay, you have how do I say, African Journal of Education. If you look at the title, African Journal of Education, basically, as an author from Malaysia, you will not publish in that journal. If your research is based in Malaysia and it is more suitable to be applied by Malaysian readers, okay? So why would you want to publish in African Journal of Education? Okay, so these are the issues that you need to re-look into. So please go through the journal's aims and scope very carefully. Okay, why this is so is because sometimes when you send an article to the journal editor, okay, it get rejected before it is sent out to reviewers. Why? Because you did not match the aim of the journal, the scope of the journal. So you get a reply from the editor, we like to apologize, sorry, we cannot send your article out for review because it is not aligned to our journal's aim and scope. So why waste your time? Even on the journal editor's desk, your article might take about 1 or 2 months, before decision is reached. So you have wasted 2 months. Okay, so do your search thoroughly. Okay, look at the previously published articles of the journal. Okay, you must also go into their current issues, their archives, to look at the articles which were published and published by whom, who are the authors from which part of the world, and what kind of areas, research scope, that this journal prefer. That's very important. Okay. For example, look at John Benjamin's Publishing Company website here. Okay, so here, this website will let you know they publish on what kind of articles. For example, look at the second paragraph. The journal presents research on various forms of translation, interpreting, okay, from which perspective, historical, cultural, literary, sociological. Okay, so what kind of articles do they take? These journal take article, normally they will welcome articles with a theoretical, empirical and applied focus. Okay, they don't want theoretical article alone. They want articles that integrate all these 3 dimensions. Okay, so these are the issues that you need to look at. That's very important. Okay, for example, this journal, Journal of Sociolinguistics by Wiley. Okay, you also need to go to the overview, then you have the editorial board, you get to see where are they from, okay, what kind of articles they publish, get to see their aims and so on. Okay, and the journal page will provide all the information on, example, who is the editor, the impact factor. Okay, this is studies in second language acquisition. Okay, you have the journal home icon. You can go there to find out more about the journal. Okay, you get to find out whether this journal provide open access articles, which is accessible, or readers have to purchase the articles. Okay, and you also get to see at the top, after Cambridge Core, what we publish. So you get to know whether this journal is suitable for what you want to publish or not. Okay, another
Dr.
example. Yes, Dr. Raza?
There is one question here.
Okay.
Where they ask, why do journals get blacklisted?
Okay, why do journals get blacklisted? One reason I would say is sometimes, like I mentioned just now, if you have a journal which have 6 to 8 publications per year, okay,
yeah,
it is very massive publication. How can you do peer review? Peer review takes a long process. Are you sure the journals do peer review or not? Okay, or sometimes they're blindly published. If you go to these blacklisted journals and you read the articles, at times you get to find a lot of discrepancies, errors in the articles. The findings are doubtful. Some articles are plagiarized. Okay, there have been a lot of cases. Okay, and some of these journals which are blacklisted are paying journals. Okay, I'd like to say here, even Index Journal in Scopus and ISI are also paying journals. Okay, However, some journals are only profit-oriented and they will publish any articles. For example, you send an article to a journal, they get published in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's impossible. Okay, that means quality is not maintained. To send an article out for peer review, you have to give about 1 to 2 months to your peer reviewer to review the article. Then the article comes back to the author does correction, goes back to the reviewers, comes back again. The whole process can take about 1 year. Okay, that is quality.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
go
I'll
ahead.
continue. Okay,
Yeah.
so this one is another example of a journal, Applied Linguistics. Okay, the names of the editors are mentioned there. So what kind of research does this journal publish? They publish research into language with relevance to real world issues. So they want articles which are related to real world issues. Okay, so you can find out more, okay, by clicking the find out more, and you provided the impact factor and also the 5 years average factor. Then the SSI, it is a ISI journal. So don't just believe what is stated on the journal's website. Okay, based on the information that you have here, you still need to further your research by going to JCR, Journal Citation Report, to find out whether whatever is stated here is correct or not. Okay, and after that you proceed. Okay, and the next thing you also must know, there are issues. Sometimes some editors, the editorial board members' names are put there without the permission of those particular people. Okay, this has happened also for journals who, how do I say, not the genuine journals, the predatory journals, okay, the blacklisted journals. Okay, these are all very reputable journals. Journal of English for academic purpose. Okay, the ISSN number is provided. So make sure you do the correct check to check the ISSN number, the publisher from the Scopus website or the journal citation report. When there's a mismatch, then there is a question. Okay, this has happened recently. Recently, I investigated one journal because in my school, let's say we assist the staff to pay for the journal publication fee. So before we approve the journal publication fee, I need to make sure that the journal is not blacklisted. So what happened is recently there was a case, this journal A, I investigated the journal A, I went to the website. So I got the information that they are indexed in Scopus. I got the information of the journal title, the ISSN and the publisher. Then I proceeded to the Scopus website to do my investigation. So what happened was in the Scopus website, the publisher provided for that journal title is not the same as in the website, the journal's website. And when I did my search from the Bell's list, the publisher for that journal, which was listed on the Scopus website, is actually blacklisted. But the publisher for the journal, as listed in the journal's website, is not blacklisted. So the question mark here is, who is the publisher? Okay, so we had to reject the payment for the publication. However, as the author was adamant, so the author wrote to the journal editor to ask, why is your publisher listed on the Scopus website not the same as on your journal website? And that publisher listed on the Scopus website is a blacklisted publisher. So after this issue was investigated, then if you go to the Scopus website now, Scopus has already changed the publisher of that journal. So it is no longer blacklisted and I can proceed with the payment for the publication fee. Okay, so these are the issues that you need to be really sure to make sure that you do not publish in blacklisted journal, because then it will impact your CV, you know, in terms of it's not a good, how do I say, good for your reputation to publish in a blacklisted journal. Okay, so these are some of the good journals which are, how do I say, indexed in Scopus and ISI. Okay, you get to see under the aims and scope, okay, what kind of articles the journal will publish, and you have the instruction for authors, and you have the journal information. For example, how many issues do they publish in a year? Let's say a journal publishes 12 issues in a year. So you need to really check, how on earth are they able to do peer review? It is very difficult to get people to do peer review. Sometimes I get a few articles in a month to peer review. When I do not have time to peer review, I only accept 2. I will reject the other 2. So journals find difficulty in getting peer reviewers. So it takes time. And one article at least must be peer reviewed by 2 blind reviewers. Okay, some go for 3. Okay, so these are the issues. So the good journals will take a longer duration before giving you a decision whether your article will be published or not. Like for example, in my case, I completed my PhD in 2013. So before that, I have published also, but it was not, my publications before 2013 were not in index publication because I was a young researcher. I just started my academic career and I wanted to publish. So it was not in index publication. So my first ISI publication after I graduated was in the Asia Pacific Education Researcher Journal. And to publish in that journal took me 1.5 years to the day of the decision, as it has to go back and forth to the reviewers after amending, okay, doing the changes based on the reviewers' requirement. Okay, so these are the issues that you have to consider and be patient. Okay, and remember one thing, do not send one article to a few journals and expecting to get one answer and proceeding with that. Okay, it is very unethical to send one same article to a few different journals to see which one you can grab first. Okay, never ever do that. Okay, this is another journal, Language Teaching Research. You have the journal home, you can browse the journal. In general, this journal publishes research within the area of second or foreign language teaching. Okay. Okay, and this journal, Language Policy, they also give you information what kind of article they publish. Then you go to their issues to look at the title. So you get to know whether whatever you're going to do is really aligned to that journal or not. This is by Penerbit UKM, UKM Press, Gemma Online, Journal of Language Studies, Index in Scopus. Okay, so you can find under announcement, it is stated there. Okay, what kind of papers they publish to share theories, views, research results, empirical studies, classroom practices, action research. And one thing good about this journal is they accept articles written in English and also Malay language. Okay, and at the top, you have all the links for you to go into abstracting, indexing, the user guide. Okay, they also have article processing charges now. Okay. Okay, so pick journals like you pick stocks. Why? You want the good stocks, isn't it? You want to get profit. So you need to pick good stocks. So the same is with the journals. You need to pick the good journals, okay? So select 3 or 4, okay? Then after that, based on your topic, okay, then you decide which you want to go for. Okay, you also need to do some research on the articles published in that particular journal. You need to know how or what kind of style do they prefer. Okay, the journal writing structure. Okay, the general structure is IMRAD, I-M-R-A-D. I-M-R-A-D here refers to introduction, methodology, okay. Then you have your results, you have your analysis, okay, your discussions and so on. And also different journals have different referencing style. This referencing style is not only for the reference section, it's also for the whole article. For example, we have the APA. APA is American Psychological Association format. You have the Harvard, we have MLA, we have Chicago. Okay, but most journals will follow APA format. Okay. Okay. So for young authors, young publishers, young writers, researchers, submit your paper to a journal with a rising impact factor. Don't go into journals with very high impact factor, okay, for young writers, okay. So you might not get a chance to go in, okay, or it will take a very extremely long time. Okay, and look at also the acceptance rate. If you go to the journal's website, sorry, I didn't explain this earlier on the journal's website. The journals will provide information on their acceptance rate. Let's say from 100 articles they receive, how many will get published, how many will get rejected. They will provide data on this also. So you get to know, okay, whether they have high rejection rate or not. So the rejection rate is high, then if you think that your paper is not very good, so try not to publish in those journals. But there's no harm in taking the risk, you know, and trying. Okay. So for beginners, avoid declining journals with low acceptance and diminishing impact factor. Okay. Why? Because this journal might be at the verge of being removed from Web of Science ranking as Scopus database. We have journals who have gone into Scopus indexing, come out from Scopus indexing, and gone back again to Scopus indexing. Okay. So there are ups and downs for the journals. Why it happens sometimes is maybe because the editorial board changes. Okay, commitment level is not there of editorial boards to maintain the quality and so on. So that is where it changes in terms of the quality of articles that they publish. Okay, that will impact, you know, whether you stay for a long duration in Scopus or you get removed and after a certain time period, you apply again, then you go in again. Okay?
Dr. Manjit?
Yeah, Dr. Raza.
There is one question down there. Is there any minimum requirement for articles to be published in Scopus or Web of Science?
The question is, what is there any requirement?
Is there any minimal requirement?
Oh, minimal requirement. Okay, yes. Like I mentioned just now, Scopus does not set any requirement. ISI does not set any requirement. The requirement is set by the journal. Okay, certain journals, most journals will have their requirements. So that is why you need to go to the website of that journal and see what kind of article they publish. And then the requirement will be requirement in terms of number of pages and so on. And the journals also will require you to have a certain limit in terms of the similarity index. So they will do their Turnitin. Okay, to find out the similarity index. Like certain journals, like for example, one journal under UPM Press, Patanika Journal of Social Sciences and Humanities, if you notice, their cutoff point for similarity index is 30%. So if yours is more than 30%, they will either ask you to do the changes to bring down the similarity index, or they will reject your paper. Okay, so the first thing is, whenever your paper is submitted, it will go to the editor. The editor will screen your paper, okay, to see whether your paper follows the journal requirement. The journal requirements are normally posted on their website. So once you make sure that you fulfill all the journal requirement in terms of the number of words, in terms of aligning your paper to their scope, okay, and then in terms of the structure, how they want the paper to be written, whether you follow the APA format or not, okay. So then what happens is, if it meets all the requirement, it will be sent out for peer review. If it doesn't meet the requirement, the editor might reject, will send you an email to notify you of rejection, or either certain editors who are, more considerate, will inform you that these are the things that you do not have, do the changes and resubmit. Then you have a possibility of resubmitting. Okay, so there are many issues. Another issue which is not on paper, not black and white on paper, at times it's extremely difficult for Malaysian authors to penetrate into, international journals, which are very reputable. Okay, so that is where collaboration is very important. So you need to find international collaborator, okay, from maybe the country where the journal is based. Okay, it will give you more opportunity, advantage for you to go in. So that is where collaboration is very important. Write collaboratively. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So thank you also for Parvinder Singh's questions. So let's continue.
Okay. So submit your research where you have the highest probability for publication. Study your journal. It's very important for you to study your journal to find out the acceptance rate, the impact factor. Okay, is your article, is your scope of your article aligned to what is required by the journal? Okay, that's very important. And then analyze the past publications in that journal to see whether you can meet up to you can live up to that expectations, whether you can write in that style. Okay, then you decide on the journal. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so this is from one of the journals website, Patanika JSSH. JSSH refers to Journal of Social Sciences and Humanities. This journal is published by UPM Press, University Putra Malaysia. Okay, so when you want to submit to this journal, you need to follow, okay, an abstract or not more than 300 words. What happens is sometimes authors submit abstract, okay, let's say 500 words. Okay, so you will be rejected. Why do things which is not required? So they want only 8 related keywords. Don't give more. Okay, number of words must not exceed 6,000 words, for example. So you need to follow. So in text reference, they want APA style. So don't do Harvard style. Okay, so these are the things. And how you need to format your article. Certain journals will have the formatting structure provided to you. Certain journals will not. Like for these, they want the articles in the IMRED format. Okay, introduction, methodology, okay, the design, the analysis, the discussion. Okay, you have the problem formulation, conceptual framework, so and so. Okay, so follow what they want. You can view their current issue, the journal archive to see how articles are written which are published in their journal. Okay, and next one, your referencing. How to do your referencing. Okay, you have certain softwares now to assist you. Okay, one is EndNote. You can use EndNote. Okay, but be careful when you use EndNote. At the end, you still need to do manual checking to see everything is there. That's very important. Okay, this one you have the one highlighted in blue here is using the APA format. Okay. And then the first one is using the MLA format. Then you have the Chicago, Harvard format. Okay, basically, most journals will go for the APA format. Okay, look for example, the punctuation marks, and then to italicize the title of the journal, italicize the volume only. You do not italicize the issue. Okay, these are very important things to look into. Okay. Okay, finding a suitable journal based on impact factor and acceptance rate. You can also go to Scopus website. You can go under sources. Okay, then you search. So you get the articles. Okay. Okay, so you have the article, for example, the reading teacher. Okay, you get to see their high citations, how many documents, how many cited, and so on. Okay, then you have more examples here. Okay. Okay, on your left, if you look on your left, there's a red dot which says second quartile. Okay, so what is quartile? Okay, to check the quartile of an article, you go to Scimago, S-C-I-M-A-G-O, Scimago. In Scimago, you key in the title of the journal. Once you have keyed in the title of the journal, you will have the report. The report will be in terms of a chart. Okay, whereby it will have Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. A journal is categorized into these Qs. Okay, the most reputable journal will have Q1 ranking, quartile 1. Okay, the least reputable will be Q4 ranking. Journals in Scopus are also ranked according to the quartiles. Okay, if you notice in the Scimago website, if you can go now, Scimago and type in a title of a journal, you get to see there. Okay, the green one is Q1. Okay, if you move your cursor on the green box in the chart, you see it will list it as Q1. Okay, Q1 is the most highly ranked compared to Q4. Okay. Okay, so these are some suggestions to publish in Scopus Index Journal and to avoid rejection. Okay, publishing for those in arts and social sciences is more difficult. It's more difficult in terms of it takes time, okay, to write. It takes time to also publish compared to the sciences. Because in sciences, when you do research in the lab, you get to do research fast, it's collaborative, you generate the results fast, and you publish fast. And in the sciences, if you see, the authors of the articles are normally many compared to the arts and social sciences. Arts and social sciences, sometimes just one author or two or three. Okay, basically, when it comes to publication, I will advise you to have maximum of 4 or the most is 5. But when it's certain journals require you to justify or explain the contribution of each author in terms of that research and that writing that you have done. So it's very important for you to be reasonable with the number of authors in your publication. Okay. So like I mentioned earlier in my presentation, always start with a conference paper if you have not published yet. Okay, start with a conference paper presentation, then go for conference proceeding, then go for journal article. Okay, at the same time, when you're going for journal article, you can also go for book chapter publication. Okay, so next one is always listen to the feedback provided by the reviewers, the conference referees, and adjust your paper and so on. Okay, and don't get disheartened or give up when you have to review after review. I have experience whereby my papers, certain papers had to be reviewed about 4 to 5 times. It will like, I will review, I'll send back to the journal, I will come back with more comments, then I will do the corrections, I'll send back, it will come back with more comments. Okay, so it's part and parcel of the, how do I say, the publishing journey. Okay, so this is normal in Scopus Index journals and also the other good journals, Okay, so the most important thing is you must be thankful that you were not rejected. Okay, there's still possibility that at the end you will get published. There's also possibility that after you have done corrections, maybe after after the paper was reviewed 3 or 4 times, it might get rejected also. There is a possibility. But most of the time, if it's gone through review and they've come back to you to do revision and submit a few times, that means there's a high possibility that it will be accepted. Okay? So very important, pay attention to all the feedback, modify accordingly. And sometimes, let's say you think that what you've written is what you want to retain or whatsoever, you need to justify your response, So you need to justify to the comment provided by the reviewer. Okay, so whenever you produce a paper, a master or doctoral thesis, for example, for a company, consider it as a potential publication also. Okay, and also you can co-author with others, a colleague, a student, and so on. But be cautious when you're providing your name. Okay, there have been cases, I would like to share a case with you all. Somebody invites you to co-author, okay, and there's publication involved, so you are able to pay for the fees, so you get your name to be put in the article, but you did not do anything in terms of contributing towards the writing. However, the next thing you find out is you are being sued for plagiarizing the article. Okay, so to avoid these kind of things, please be careful when you are providing your name as a co-author in an article. Okay, check the content properly. Who wrote the content? Is the content authentic? Make sure it's not plagiarized. Okay, do not get your image tarnished in the academic world by plagiarizing. Okay, that's very important. Okay, so the best thing, if you want to co-author, get people in the field who are reputable, who have already established their name, for example, for research collaboration, that's very important. Okay, so write to these people, I have written to people also, asking them to be part of my work, or I invite myself to be part of their work. Okay, sometimes you get rejection, sometimes you get acceptance, So it's an how do I say, trial and error process kind of thing. Okay, so you can even volunteer to do a draft of an article for them to critique and so on. Okay, or you can volunteer to do some data collection in cross-cultural study context. Your friend is doing, for example, on how do I say, certain issue in the Australia. So you can compare. Let's do comparative work in Malaysia. Okay, or apply for grants, international grants that can lead to publication. Okay, collaborate with colleagues at other universities or other departments. Okay, write to them and tell them you want to write together. Okay, so if you want something, you have to go for it. Okay, so next one is read your professional literature faithfully. Okay, every journal article provides suggestions for future research. So from the future research is something that you can use to generate the future research and start your research. Okay, so reading the literature makes it easier when providing a theoretical framework and your review of literature. Okay, and when to write, finding the time to write, the correct time is very important. Okay, to write a good piece of work, it takes time. It must be done consistently throughout a certain period of time. Okay, it doesn't work like writing in a short period of time, unless there are cases that people get ghost writers to write for them. Okay, so consider all the possibilities for publication from your research, whether writing theoretical paper, empirical findings. Okay, so make sure you follow the journal guidelines. That's very important. Okay, for example, in terms of referencing manuscript length, and also submitting the manuscript correctly, because everything needs to be submitted online nowadays. Okay, so how to motivate oneself to keep on producing Scopus standard articles? Decide on a broad research umbrella. What is your area? Make that area your niche area. So whenever you publish articles, whenever you write in that particular area. So you become a master of something and not a jack of all trades. So that's very important. So relate everything you do to a single overall concept. And like I mentioned, don't become a jack of all trades. Don't work on unrelated topics. Confined to one area, so whenever people talk about this area, they will think of you. Oh, he's an expert on that area. We should go to him. Okay, and also you can do replication of studies. Replication here does not mean plagiarizing. What you can do is maybe replicate the theoretical framework, or you replicate the methodology, or you replicate using the same instruments in a different setting. Okay, that's very important. So you need to know your research, your methodology, practices, and the key people in that area. So key people here refers to, for example, when you want to do referencing, when you want to write your literature review. So you write what you quote these key people. Okay. So research productivity depends on the accessibility, visibility, and connectivity. That's very important. So you need to be accessible and active on every research platform and databases. I'll explain to you after this. And then make your work visible. When you publish, make your work visible. Let people review, see your work, use your work, cite your work. Okay, and at the same time, connectivity. Join professional bodies. Okay, so now we'll start with accessibility. Okay, and being active. Okay, this is a profile of ResearchGate. This is my PhD student, Muhammad Moziur Rahman. Okay, you can also visit my profile on ResearchGate. Okay, so make yourself visible. Join ResearchGate, for example, and then upload your work there. Okay, there are varieties of work that you can upload. If you see on your left, you have the Add New. When you click on Add New, you can see variety of work that you can add, okay, to your profile. So I hope after this, I'll get to see many people joining ResearchGate, okay, and inviting me to follow you. Okay, I will definitely do that. Okay, that is where you, how do I say, make yourself accessible and active. Okay, this is another platform, Academia EDU profile of my student here. Okay, whereby you can upload your work. Okay, once you have published, okay, let's say in a Scopus Index journal, your paper will be indexed in Scopus website. So then you will get an author ID. So what you do is in your email correspondence, always have your your author ID in your signature line. Okay, and when you have the author ID, you will also get the ORCID ID. Okay, so under the ORCID ID, okay, let's say any other person wants to collaborate with you, they will go and search for you on Scopus, on ResearchGate, to find out your ORCID ID and so on. Okay, so if you look here, this is the ORCID website page of my student. At the bottom, you can see other IDs. Okay, he has the Scopus author ID, researcher ID. Okay, you need to publish in Scopus first to be able to get these IDs. Okay, then you, you register yourself. Okay, this is Mendeley profile. Okay, he has 25 citations, 109 people has read his work, and he has 3 H index. Okay, this is Google Scholar profile. Okay, under Google Scholar profile, he has 49 citations. Okay, this is Microsoft Academic profile. Okay, this is Publons. You can have this Publons profile also when you do reviews for journals. Okay, whereby they will, recognize your review expertise. Okay. Okay, this is the researcher ID. You also have to register for this. You can register for this. Okay, this is the student's Scopus profile, whereby he has the author ID. There's a Scopus ID. And he also has the ORCID ID. Okay, and also join professional bodies. Like in my area, these are some of the professional bodies that I should join, like International Literacy Association. And there are a lot of benefits by joining these associations. Okay.
Doctor?
Yeah, yes, Dr. Raza?
There is one question asked by Mr. Bachan Singh. How valid is accusation of plagiarism based on the plagiarism checker?
How valid is the plagiarism?
Accusation of plagiarism.
Okay, how valid is it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not very sure what is the requirement of the question. Okay, but I will try and answer. Okay.
Maybe in terms of similarities and familiarities.
Yeah, normally when it comes to journals, when you go on your website, what they will mention is please maintain originality, make sure your article has low similarity index. Okay, it's not published before, you do not plagiarize, because these are matters of academic honesty. Okay, so what happens is the journals will run through your article also through various plagiarism checkers. Okay, you have Turnitin, iAuthentic, and so on. Okay, so every journal will have their own cutoff point. Okay, so based on the cutoff point, they will decide whether they want to accept or not. Okay, and an example, I had one article submitted to one journal. Okay, and it came back from the editor informing me that they have to reject my article because the plagiarism similarity index is very high. Okay, so they send me the report. So I analyzed the report. Yes. What happens was, in the report, the article which I submitted to the journal was plagiarized. Okay. Why it was plagiarized? Because I had presented this work in a conference before. So after presenting at a conference, I submitted, not to say I submitted, I uploaded my conference presentation on ResearchGate. So from there, my conference paper, in which I presented my findings, my data, was plagiarized by a student in a university in Indonesia. Because plagiarism report indicated a very high percentage of plagiarism of me plagiarizing the data, which was actually my findings. Okay, so I brought it up to the journal that this is my data. I collected the data. It was uploaded on ResearchGate, and I also contacted my university's legal office, okay, to liaise with the university in Indonesia, that particular university, to find out how come my data was plagiarized by a student paper, in a student paper. Okay, so
Yeah.
I informed the journal about this. Then they agreed to accept my reasoning. Only then my article was accepted for review, and after corrections, it was published. So that is where, when you get high plagiarism rate, you need to check the report, and you need to check the report to find out where the high percentage comes from. And you need to go to the source to find out whether really it was plagiarized by somebody else or it was you who plagiarized it. If you have done the plagiarism in terms of copying identically and not doing paraphrasing, what you need to do is reduce the similarity by doing aggressive paraphrasing.
Okay.
Okay, that's why it's very important for you to paraphrase whatever you take from elsewhere, especially when you do your literature review. Like in my case, my data was plagiarized, the findings, the raw data. So that is why the report came out very high.
Yeah.
I hope that I'm able to answer the question.
Okay. Thank you for your sharing. So, Dr. Majid, kita masih ada lagi lebih kurang 5 minit.
Yes,
Untuk
I
kita,
still have a few more slides.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so make yourself visible by joining professional organizations. Okay, like I mentioned just now, International Literacy Association just now, and you have this British Association of Lecturers. These are international associations. Okay, you can also join Malaysian-based association. You have, like, for example, MELTA, Malaysian English Language Teaching Association. Like Penang, you have PELTA. Okay, then you have other associations like, Malaysian Applied Linguistic Associations based in University Malaya. Okay, there are many associations around, professional associations. It's good for your networking. It's good for your visibility. It's good for you to share your research work. Okay, these are international based association, TESOL. Okay, I'm also a member of this association. Okay, for some association, your institution can help you to pay the fees. For some association, if you're really interested to join, if your institution do not want to pay, they're not interested to pay for you, you can also pay by yourself. You're interested, and there are a lot of benefits for example, sharing of resources, collaborating, okay, applying for grants, going for conferences. Okay, this is American Association for Applied Linguistics. Like I mentioned just now, we have also Malaysian Applied Linguistic Association, MAAL, M-A-A-L. Okay, I'm also a member of that, which you also can join. Okay, Asia TEFL is also a good association to join, whereby they have their yearly conference. And I think this year the conference is going to be in Korea, not mistaken. Okay. Okay, so this is my last slide. So when you publish, even after 1.5 years, after hard work of going back and forth with the comments, doing the corrections, do not give up. Okay, there'll be a sense of accomplishment. I felt the accomplishment when I first published in an ISI journal in 2013, something from my thesis. Okay, so you will feel the sense of accomplishment. So researchers are proud of the name researcher or author. They don't say they should write or they just write. Okay, so this is a quote by a professor from USM. He's in the School of Management, a statistician also, Professor Ramaya Turasamy. He has published a lot. Okay, according to Professor Ramaya, share your resources with others. You learn more from sharing than from holding. Okay, so share, collaborate, make your work visible. That's very important. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you very much. I will pass again the mic to Dr. Raza.
Okey. Terima kasih Dr. Manjit Kaur telah banyak memberi perkongsian pengalaman beliau dalam menerbitkan artikel dan di jurnal-jurnal di peringkat yang diterima oleh peringkat antarabangsa dalam Index of Science, Web of Science dan juga Scopus. Dan kita sebenarnya sangat bertuah kerana perkongsian pengalaman beliau ini, dan khususnya bagi pendidik atau guru-guru yang masih lagi dalam menyiapkan tesis PhD dan juga yang sudah pun mendapat ijazah, kita teruskan untuk kita terus menulis di peringkat antarabangsa sehingga kita dapat mendapat pengiktirafan dalam dan disenaraikan dalam Scopus. Jadi webinar pada kali ini mengucapkan terima kasih terima kasih kepada Profesor Madya Dr. Manjit Kaur dari USM, Rektor Institut Pendidikan Guru Malaysia, Pengarah Bahagian Profesionalisme Guru Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, Pengarah Institut Pendidikan Guru Kampus Pulau Pinang, Jabatan Penyelidikan dan Inovasi IPG Kampus Pulau Pinang, dan juga Prospen, Program Persarjanaan Pensyarah IPG Kampus Pulau Pinang, warga IPG Kampus Pulau Pinang dan semua warga pendidik, semua peserta webinar. Jadi kita berharap agar webinar yang telah dilaksanakan sehingga 4 siri ini dapat memberikan manfaat khususnya kepada kita ahli-ahli akademik. Jadi sekali lagi kita mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Manjit Kaur dan kita akan berjumpa lagi dalam siri-siri yang lain. Jadi setakat ini saja untuk perkongsian pada kali ini dan saya akan diakhiri dengan wabillahi taufiq. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay.